I'm going to try a little experiment. I'm going to try rooting some more rose bushes. Get these thorns off, or just snip them off because I don't want them sticking me. But I've got new growth right here off my rose bush. And you can see there was a dead flower up there. So I'm just going to cut that back. Cut the dead flower off. And that's going to be my cutting. But I got to get a couple more of them just like this. And you can see I cut just the tips of the stickers off so I can handle it with my hands and I don't get stuck. But I only left 1 or 2 of the little limbs at the top. I cut it a good 12 inches or more. I cut it just below where a leaf would come out. And then I just trimmed up all the little pieces there. So that's my cutting right there. You want them at least 12 inches long. And you want to get a cutting that has a flower at the top. Even though we cut the old dead flower off, we want one with a flower on it. That means it was a new shoot, new growth from last year. They should root better than some of the other ones I've cut. And you can see right there, I cut it just below where a leaf would grow, because that's where it roots the best. Now, every single one of them are not going to be a good cutting. You want it at least big enough that it has a good chance to root, about the size of a pencil. You can see all of these are not good cuttings, so I got 3 substantial cuttings off of that. Move down here to this other one. See what I can get off of this one. This is a good one. Got hold of an old worm on it. Felt kind of funky when I touched it. But find your leaf node, cut just below it. Trim up your little spikes so that you don't stick your fingers. All you do is cut the points off of them. That way you don't get stuck. Cut off the sheet with the rose. Trim up the rest of it. And see, I only got one little sprig on that one. But it'll work. And see, this one is, you know, it had all new growth at the top because it was putting out flowers. Again, I'm trimming off my spikes. Because I'd rather not get stuck if I can help it. And then proceed up here to the top to start cutting off some of this other stuff. I guess we can leave that. See? And if you didn't cut right below the little nodule, you know, where your leaves come out, there's one right there. I'm going to trim it up just below it at an angle. And there's my cutting for this one. Let's see how many I've got. 1, 2. Need a couple more for what I'm going to do. I'm going to run an experiment's what I'm going to do. You know, last time I put them in the greenhouse and I put them in little cups to root them. And I don't think I got real good cuttings. Because of the drought affected my rose bushes so much. But I'm going to try an experiment. I'm going to come around here and put part of these in a pot. Because look, that one rose bush that we propagated last year, it's looking good, y'all. Look at that. And I'm not sure I was showing it to you correctly. But there it is. The one survivor out of 6 rose bushes that we rooted and planted. That one is the only one that survived so far. And I'm probably going to have to pull this one out because it doesn't look alive at all. But we're going to come around here. Well, trying to get it at the best angle. But I've got a, oh, this is one of the first rose bushes I bought. It was in this container, and I've just kept it over the years for just using it as a starter pot or a pot that I could plant stuff in the yard. Now, if I can get this untied. It's cold, so it's kind of stiff. Now, this is the first time I've tried doing this with rose bushes this time of year, but I've always had good luck with them before. And this is just organic worm castings. I'm just going to put a little bit in there to kind of refresh the compost a little bit. You don't need much. I'm just going to mix it around. And you need a mixture of like sand and dirt and compost, which is already in this pot. And you see that I just put the worm castings in. Now, I do need a little bit of water over here. And I just have a saucer full of rainwater right here. I didn't put my gloves on. Now what I'm going to do is just wet my stem, the bottom of it, in some water. And I've got my rooting hormone right here. I just kind of wet it in the water a little bit. Dipped it down in there. Covered about 2 inches of it. And I'm going to put it down in the dirt. Almost half. The width of that rose bush. And continue on with the other ones. I'm going to put these up against the side. But again, I'm going to put it about halfway down in the dirt. You want good drainage for these. You don't want them sitting in water. Another good one here. This one. And I'm not even shaving the bottom of the stem like I normally do. Like I said, it's an experiment. I'm going to see if this works any better than the way I've been doing it. There, I got 4 rose bushes in there. Hopefully they will start. Now, I don't need to put those in a greenhouse. I don't need to put them indoors. You can leave them outside as long as they're halfway sheltered somehow. I'm going to leave them right there for the time being. And I'm going to move my camera and everything around to the other side of the yard, along with my trowel, because we're going to try another experiment. But that's 4 rose bushes. Now you do need to water it. I will water it, but I can't do it right this minute because I've got well, yeah, I can. I've got compost tea I can water it with. So hold on just a minute. But just water it real good. You don't want it to dry out, but you don't want it sitting in water. You want it well drained. Do not put a tray or anything under it. Just let it drain. Now I'm going to try to find a place to put it Uh-huh. I might put this one at the edge of the porch. Let me put my bucket back and I'll show you where I put that. Now, I'm just going to leave it right there. It's under the edge of the porch. It will get rainwater, but it won't get a real soaking of rainwater. And it has well drainage because there's no tray or pan underneath it. And we're just going to leave it there. I'll check the dirt occasionally when it stops raining and starts drying off. Make sure the pot does not dry out. Now, I need to take all my stuff. If I can get it all here. Got it all in my pan. See, I made me a tray of all the stuff I needed to take around here. Now, like I said, this is an experiment. I know some people have real good luck with this. Let me turn this around. So I'm going to try it. We already know it's well drained. I mean, my soil drains really well. But where we put our cuttings last year is where I'm going to try these. And I do have grass growing in here. Try to get some of it out. Again, I should have put my gloves on. But if you have a well-drained area that you want to plant rose bushes, you might want to try this. I mean, we're not going to be out any money because our rose cuttings are free. This is a little bit of grass out of here, weeds. That did put down a good taproot, but you know, unfortunately my rose bush did not survive. It got too dry there in the heat. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to plant some this time and have them survive. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did back there. I'm going to move some of the dirt, some of the wood chips. I'm going to proceed to put down just a little bit of worm castings, and I'm going to mix it up in my dirt. And I think what it is I've got rocks down here. The roots can't go deep. That's the problem. There's a rock right there. Now, and I think that is the problem. The fact that we got a big rock way down underneath the dirt. I don't know if there's one here. Yep. So that's our problem on this side. Let me see if it's that way here. Could at least get one in the middle. And I knew that was a problem when I planted the other cuttings, was the fact that there is, yeah, see, there's a big rock under there. Now, if it's rocks and not a big boulder, the roots have somewhere to go around the rock and hit, and can at least hit and maybe that, I'll put it right there. I'm going to wet the end of it the best I can, because I didn't bring a cup. I just brought a saucer. Wet it good with rooting hormone. I just stuck myself. I didn't get all the roots off. And I'm going to put it way down deep. And then cover it back up with the wood chips so it'll have mulch over the top. I just don't know about putting one there. Let's see how far this goes down. Yeah, see, there's a rock way down there. But we're going to try it. And like I said, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Let me see if I can find a spot that goes down a way. Yeah. See, I got a big boulder under there. And it would be all right if we got a lot of rainfall. But I'm going to try it. Hit the spot where it goes down the furthest. I don't know where that would be, because that rock is right there. We'll try. See what happens. But you can see I put about half of it in the dirt. Move my wood chips back over. And I'm going to try the same thing on this other side. I've got 2 more cuttings. Oh, I need to throw that rose bush out. And like I said, I'm going to try to do the same thing over here. Get up the grass. I think it has a better chance over here. And if I don't get my roses to live here, at least I got one. Maybe I can get at least one over on the other side. And then I can just plant flowers or something. See, I got about 2 inches of root hormone on the bottom. I'm going to put about half of that down in the dirt. And this is a mixture of sand and clay. So, I mean, it should be perfect for roses. It's well drained, but yet it will hold a little bit of moisture as well with the clay. Look at that. I got Bermuda grass. Bermuda grass. That stuff is terrible, I tell you. It's even growing in the stump of the root stump. See, I got one more, so I'm going to put it over here, but I do need to get this grass out. Look at this Bermuda grass. This stuff grows like crazy. Look at that. This is a good time to plant roses because the ground is wet and we get a lot of rainfall this time of year. But you don't want Bermuda grass in there. Oh my Lord. That big old clump of Bermuda grass. It's got roots going to China. Oh man. I got a clump of Bermuda grass right here. Yeah. Stuff puts down a root system you would not believe. Oh Lord. Look at that. Whew. Gracious alive. That grass is everywhere. But I got about half of that stem down in the dirt. It's about time to get more wood chips, looks like. Go over here and get me a bucket of compost tea. Whew. I'll go over here and get me another bucket. And I'm just going to proceed to water these. Whoops. Yeah. Go ahead and take my bucket back. And I will get those Bermuda grass cuttings put up in the fire pit or somewhere so they don't take root here. You can grow in the fire pit all they want. Now, but there you go. We put 6 more rose cuttings out. No, 5 here. 3 on that side. And 2 over here, 1 on each side of the plant, the rose bush that did survive from last year that we rooted. And like I said, these are experiments to see if they will root in the ground. In a lot of places, they will. And then we got that one rose cutting in the pot. Put that back in there. Get this out of here. Uncover that one. And here I'm just securing the top of this so I don't lose anything. If you've got your own worm farm, that would be ideal. You would not have to buy worm castings because worm castings are expensive. Let me go stick these right back in the shed. Like I said, we do need to clean out the shed again. But I'm not going to do it on a day like today, but it could rain any minute. It's been raining off and on all morning. But I wanted to show you the progress on our garlic and our onions. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the little green sprouts of their onions. Little green sprouts. They're all trying to come up. Yeah, and I got to get out here one day and get all these weeds and stuff out of the pots back here. I don't want the weeds to take over. They'll just be harder to get out. In the spring, when stuff really starts growing, to try to plant anything. But look at this. Yeah, we got to get more dirt, more soil, more compost in these totes for this spring. As soon as my compost breaks down. Take my scissors and cut some of these off. Just put them down in there as compost. And look at this one. This one's just about took over. Don't know if you can see that. With weeds and wildflower stuff and oh well. I'm not sure what that was. It looks like it looked kind of like catnip. Maybe I'll just put it back down in there. It'll probably not survive because we'll probably get another freeze before summer. But see here, those are growing real good. Those are Egyptian walking onions. Oh man. And there's the onions there. And see, we got onion sprouts here. Well, that's garlic, I think. This is my garlic. Little onion sprout, a garlic sprout there, back there. They're all trying to come up. Look at that. Onions and garlic. I made a mess out of my hand. I got dirt and stuff all over it. But don't know if that'll survive or not, but it's trying. And there's my broken down canopy frame that I got to repair as soon as the weather fares up. Come up with some kind of solution to repair it somehow and get it back up. But this time I've got to come up with a way to secure it to the ground so the wind can't pull it up. and take it off. Maybe put 5-gallon buckets around each leg and fill it full of rocks and concrete or something. I don't know. I'll have to come up with 5-gallon buckets, though. I'm kind of out of buckets. All my buckets are being used. But yeah, I think maybe a 5-gallon bucket to each leg and fill it full of rocks all the way to the top. Might be just as good as putting concrete in it. Or might do both. I might get 5-gallon buckets, 4 of them, fill them full of rocks, and then pour concrete down in it to where the wind can't pull the legs out of the concrete. And maybe that'll secure it to the ground. So what happened this past winter, where the wind picked it up and threw it over, won't happen again. And I won't have to have lead wires on it holding it down. That might be an idea. Just might be an idea, but I got to get out here with my drill and some pieces to put those broken pieces back together. They got plastic joints with screws. I want to do away with the plastic joints and just put metal, because I don't plan on folding it up. And if I wanted to fold it up, eventually I could just take the screws out, take the metal pieces off, and fold it up to do away with it, or either put it to the side, or whatever I was going to do. I also wanted to show you, whoops, see the bark coming off of my stumps here? That's going to be good to put in your pots and totes for compost in the bottom of it. See how it's all coming off of the little stumps that I put down here? And eventually I will replace the stumps with something else. I may not have to. If I get the rose bushes to live, that'll be a rose bush fence across there. And it's not going to matter whether I have those there or not. But I'd like to put maybe some kind of like a fence. But I was trying to make a rose bush fence is what I was doing. So we'll see. Got to get my rose bushes to survive first. Yeah, let's hope that these will take root and survive, and I'll have some pretty rose bushes there for this summer. Hopefully they'll root now while the weather's cooler, and they'll really go crazy growing in the spring. That's what I'm counting on anyway. I think I'll lock the shed. And there's a tree limb that fell that's dead that I'm going to save for compost. I need to get it back in the, get it back here in the garden area, though. It don't need to be out here in the yard. Put it back over in here somewhere. I'm just going to pull it back here behind the gas tank. Get it out of the way. Whew. Well, I guess that's all I can do today. But see, I've got more places I could have got more cuttings, but just didn't want to take any more cuttings right now. I mean, all my rose bushes have dead roses on it, so I could have got more cuttings, but I want to see how these do. And I may replace the ones in the shed. You know, we filled a whole tray full of cuttings in there. So far, I don't know if they're rooting or not. I just haven't pulled any out to find out, but gets closer to spring, I'll try. I'll pull one out and see what's going on with it. And if they've not started rooting, I'm just going to take them out, start over with some new cuttings. Whew. So with that, oh, I'm out of breath walking around the yard and doing all this. And you know, the wind keeps blowing my hummingbird feeders over. They need to be taken down and cleaned out because the hummingbirds are not here right now. It's too cold for hummingbirds. The hummingbirds will come back around in March, April, sometime in there. Oh, I did want to check on my rose bush over here too. I mean, look at that one, how it's growing. And you know, I thought it was dead. I just trimmed it all the way back to the ground, and that's what's coming up from it. I don't think there's anything going to come up from this one. It doesn't look like it anyway. It looks basically dead. We'll find out. And I got to get out here one day and get all this grass out of here. Look at all this. I mean, it's covered in grass, so it's got to be weed-eated. I got to get all that grass. Look at all that back there. When the ground is wet is the best time to do it. But I'm not motivated today because I don't want to get out here and start doing that. And it start raining on me, so we'll wait another day or two. See what happens. So with that, if you want to experiment and you got rose bushes in your yard, take you some cuttings like I did and stick them down in the ground. If you got to dig you a trench, stick you some down in the ground in a trench and see if you can root them. You can always dig them up, move them somewhere else if they do root. Or put them in one pot like I did. I got, 4 rose cuttings in that one pot. And then we just put 5 along the little garden area where I wanted to do a rose fence. And that's just to kind of cover up my garden area in the back, so people don't see all the buckets and the totes and stuff in the backyard from the street. Maybe eventually one day I'll be able to put up a privacy fence along the backyard. They're kind of expensive to put them down because you gotta get a machine in to dig your holes because of the rock for your post to go down. And then you gotta put your privacy fence up. And I don't know if I want to go with wood because that stuff rots and then you got to take care of it and replace it. And that's one reason I haven't really pushed to put a privacy fence in. And I've got an oak tree determined to grow back here. I'm going to try to keep it trimmed back. I've put poison on it. I've done everything I know to do. But I definitely don't want an oak tree growing here beside in between the house and my air conditioner. That is not the place for it. That is definitely not the place for it. Yeah, our hummingbirds will not be back around until March. March, April, somewhere along in there. When the weather starts warming up, that's when the hummingbirds come back. You won't see a hummingbird here in the wintertime. So I could have just taken those feeders down, cleaned them up, stored them, and then put them back up. But I didn't do that. I was being lazy, wasn't I? But anyway, try you some rose bushes. Experiment with me. Let's see what'll work. I mean, if it works, hey, great. I've got rose bushes where I wanted them. And if not, I'll try something else. So with that, I want to wish you a good day. Please like, share, subscribe to my videos. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye now.